So, my pro hack number one is learn the sandwich conversation. And I actually learned this from one of my team members years ago, I think in like 2014. And we utilized it. She led one of my teams at my financial firm. We utilized this when we had to have difficult conversations with our team members. And I've really adapted it to all difficult conversations in my life. So, the sandwich conversation, you start positive, you put the zingers in the middle, the important bullet points, and you end positive. You can keep it that simple, right? But I really think the key here is the more love you go in with. Remember, this is someone we want to keep in our life, the better the conversation's going to go. So, I actually was invited to a mastermind for a group of realtors to talk about boundaries. And we went through this conversation, and they were talking about how sometimes other realtors scream at them on the phone. And I was just like, if you're not in that type of environment or profession, you can't imagine being screamed at on the phone, right? And so I was just like, I don't see why you would have to stay in that conversation. You could gracefully exit from that conversation or try to bring them down using the sandwich method and really set that boundary. So, let's say that the person, the receptionist or director of first impressions, the person at the front desk who answers the phone, greets everyone at your office, they are, consistently late every morning. You don't know what's going on. You don't know if there's an issue with their kids. You don't know, if they're having some health issues. You don't really know what's leading to this. But what you do know is because they're not showing up every morning, you're having to answer the phone, which is delaying you to get to your work 30 minutes in and causing you to stay later at work. So we're going to keep a very simple situation, right? And let's say you're going into this conversation and it's just like, hey, Sally, I just wanted to know how important you are to our team. Like, you're that smiling face at the front, you're the happy voice on the phone, and you're really a cheerleader to all of us. And we love that so much about you. However, I've noticed lately you've been coming in late. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why, but here's what I can share. This is affecting me, X, Y, Z. This is why I really encourage you to have bullet points, right? A lot of times you're going to have this conversation and the other person hasn't even thought about how they're affecting you. Sometimes they have issues themselves, which is causing them to violate your boundaries. So they're going to have to go figure those issues out, right? So you kind of walk through what the problem is, how they're violating your boundary, right? And the more you can say, I feel, or, you're coming in late, and a great powerful statement is, I choose to feel that you're not valuing my time or what I need to do. So if you say, I choose to feel, it's a pretty powerful statement. So, but what's really important is being open to hearing what Sally has to say, because there could be something you have no clue about. Again, I know this is a fairly simple conversation. Most boundary setting is very difficult, but often it's very difficult to have conversations with team members, right? We spend a lot of time with them. They're often codependent relationships, which is not encouraged, but happens. So you do your XYZ, and the bottom positive is, okay, I hear you. I understand you don't intend to do this. I thank you for having this conversation with me. Moving forward, what are some positive action steps we can take to avoid this? And you're not always going to get buy-in, but if you can get their buy-in to the solution, you're honoring their free will, their autonomy, you're respecting them. And we know once someone takes ownership of something, they are going to stick to it. So that's a pretty high level skill, but at least if you say, hey, going forward, I cannot answer the phone for you the first 30 minutes if you're late, that's still setting a boundary as well. So again, ideally you want to set the action steps together. If not possible, be clear on what action step you intend to set and try to stay calm about it. Here's what happens when you come in with love, like I talked about, like really focusing on their positive qualities. Sometimes you're coming in here, like very loving, they're still going to go here, right? Because they're embarrassed, they're triggered, who knows what's going on. But if they escalate in conversation, you just stay here. It's really that simple. you'll start seeing them come down, right? Sometimes they'll immediately come down. If they will not come down, then you just terminate the conversation and ask to reschedule it for a time that you can have a better talk. You don't have to stay in that conversation. Okay. So that's pro hack number one, use the sandwich conversation.